Wow, that's a great question. What is AI? I'm here to give you the answer. AI is artificial intelligence. Yeah, you probably want to know what is artificial intelligence. I am creating a series of videos where I hope I can answer that question for you. Before we get into this and I explain what I believe artificial intelligence to be, there's two important things you should know about me. Well, maybe three. First of all, my name is Gary Locklear. And first of all, I don't know everything. And secondly, I make mistakes. Now, the flip side of that is early in my life, I worked in the computing industry for 10 years. And since that time, I've taught university level computer science for a very long time. So hopefully I have some insights that I can share with you and give you a feeling for what is artificial intelligence. One thing that will be different about this series is I approach the discipline of computer science and artificial intelligence from a Christian worldview perspective. And I believe that allows us to truly understand what's happening here. I told my wife, "Did you hear this shocking news? Old McDonald's farm has been taken over by artificial intelligence." She said, "AI?" I said, "AI?" She said, "Oh, AI, AIO." Oh, you'll have to put up with that also. Before we answer the question, what is AI? I want you to consider this question. What do you think of when you hear the word New York? Recently, I've asked a number of groups this question, and I've received all kinds of different responses. And I think two times ago when I asked this question, almost immediately I heard Broadway and Sodom at the same time. What do you think of when you hear the word New York? Let me just read you a number of the answers that I have heard recently. Bagels, Wall Street, Sodom, Twin Towers, crime, the city that never sleeps, homelessness, opulence, traffic, skyscrapers, the Big Apple, expensive, Central Park, museums, the Statue of Liberty, commerce, banking, noisy, subway, tourists, crowded, 9/11. Yes, all of those things are New York. New York is all of those things. In a similar way, AI isn't just one thing, it's many different things. And if you ask, everybody has a different idea of what AI is. And for those of us that just want to understand AI, that's different. And for those of us that are trying to sell us AI, they come across in a very different way too. Everybody conjures up a different idea in their mind when you hear the word AI, even though it's the same word. Some ideas are based in fact, and others are just plain fanciful. So, what is artificial intelligence? My concise definition of artificial intelligence: human attempts to fashion intelligent entities. What is AI? Human attempts to fashion intelligent entities. Now, today, those entities are computer systems. And many people would say, well, they'd have to be autonomous computers acting with plan and purpose. That would be artificial intelligence. As we'll see in a later video, AI is actually fairly old. Modern artificial intelligence revolves around computers, but it wasn't always the case. In the early 20th century, there was the idea of robots, which really didn't have anything to do with computers. And before that was the idea of Frankenstein, and we'll see many other things. By the way, modern artificial intelligence began, I point to a conference in 1956, 70 years ago. This was one of the organizers, Marvin Minsky, and this was his proposal. This is interesting. We propose that a 2-month, 10-person study of artificial intelligence be carried out during the summer of 1956 at Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. The study is to proceed on the basis of the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can in principle be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. That was interesting. Now remember, this is 70 years ago. The studies proceed on the basis of the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can in principle be so precisely described that a machine, by that they mean a computer, can be made to simulate it. They go on, an attempt will be made to find how to make machines use language, form abstractions and concepts, solve kinds of problems now reserved for human beings, and improve themselves. Human attempts to fashion intelligent entities. That leads to and begs this question. What is intelligence? To understand artificial intelligence, we'd have to know what intelligence is. How would we know we've created AI if we don't have a definition of intelligence? So to understand AI, we must know what intelligence is. What are the aspects or attributes of intelligence? Well, some of them, learning, reasoning, anticipating. And this very interesting concept of abstraction. And a biggie, understanding symbolic language. Learning, reasoning, anticipating, abstraction, understanding symbolic language, those are all aspects of intelligence. How do we know what intelligence is and where did intelligence come from? Intelligence is a gift from God. I like to think of intelligence as a birthday gift from the Creator. When human beings were first created, when God fashioned Adam and Eve, he gave them a number of birthday gifts. Theologians talk about the image of God, characteristics and attributes. And one of those was intelligence. Whoa. I believe Adam and Eve were the smartest human beings who ever lived. They were the two most intelligent people ever. Think about it. Adam named all the kinds of Adam named all the kinds of animals in one day. Everything humans do requires this God-given intelligence. I'll give you an example. Consider the creation of the tabernacle, the moving temple that the people of Israel created as they were wandering in the desert in the Exodus. You can read about the construction of the tabernacle in the book of Exodus, but let me just focus on one little bit. This is from Exodus chapter 35. Then Moses said to the people of Israel, "See, the Lord has called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, from the tribe of Judah. And he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with all craftsmanship to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze, in cutting stones and setting, and in carving wood, for work in every skilled craft. And he has inspired him to teach the others. We see again here Bezalel, a person called by God to make the tabernacle beautiful. That required knowledge. Where'd that come from? He has filled him with the Spirit of God, skill, intelligence, knowledge, and all craftsmanship. One thing that's really hard for those of us on the outside looking in at artificial intelligence is much of what people say is really just hype, hyperbole. It's overblown. And there's a lot of stuff that's really not even true. If you look at social media, you'll see everything is overhyped in an attempt to gain clicks and likes and followers and to generate income. Ever see a tag or a heading on social media of any kind, from Facebook to YouTube to Instagram to wherever, that was just calm and straightforward? No, there's always many exclamation marks there, right? If you're old like me, you remember when computers were first bursting on the scene, when personal computers were becoming the rage in the 1980s. Every business thought, hey, if I want to make my business sound good, I need to say I'm computerized. So all the ads for businesses in the 80s and 90s, computerization. And of course, if you called and had a problem, they'd say, oh, we're sorry, the computer is down. And then beginning in the 21st century, the buzzword was digital. Everything had to be digital. I was looking at Best Buy online and they had a digital toaster. I don't know what that is, but it's got to be good, right? Well, what's the current buzzword here in the third decade of the 21st century? AI. If it isn't AI, it's old and stale and worthless. If it is AI, it's new, improved, and lemon freshened. Much of the hype, of course, is accentuated by the use of buzzwords that we really don't understand. Customer. Which computer does a standard operation faster? And which software is easier to use? What the heck is he talking about? Don't let him rattle you. Just keep talking gigabytes and megahertz until you wear him down. Exactly. Use buzzwords, use terms, and hopefully folks will just think you're smart. I am a college professor, as I mentioned, and sometimes people ask me, aren't you afraid that AI is going to replace you? Why can't AI replace college professors? Mainly because AI was not designed to be useless. By the way, AI is the latest and greatest buzzword, but I'm here to tell you that computers from the very beginning have appeared intelligent. I think this is an important concept to keep in mind. Computers have always appeared intelligent. Why? Mainly because of their speed of arithmetic operations. And then there's another reason we'll get to in a little bit. Imagine that you asked a friend, hey, I'm thinking about buying a car. I'd like, and this is true, I would love to buy a 2019 ZR1 Corvette. I'm just having a problem paying cash for it. You see, the cheapest one I can find is $125,000. Now, I know I can borrow the money over 4 years at 5%, but I wonder what my monthly payments would be. If your friend turned to you and instantaneously said $2,935 a month, you'd say, wow, you're intelligent. Computers do that constantly all the time. Here's a little app I love to use. It's a Financial Calculator 2000. It was actually constructed by some of my students in my software engineering class 25 years ago. And you type in the principal amount, the interest rate, the yearly payback period, press process, and instantaneously it will give you the answer. Computers appear intelligent, and they do this all the time. I think we would expect that. Computers are created by intelligent human beings, and we would expect them to reflect an image of their intelligent human creators. Now, calculation, this is just following an algorithm. It's just a basic formula. Computers can do that. That doesn't seem earth-shattering or breathtaking. But stop and think about it. Computers are fast. They certainly do things that would give the appearance of having intelligence, and they do it much faster. So, AI, what do we know today? Here are a couple things I would really like you to remember about AI today. First of all, AI exists today. This is not something that's going to happen in the future. This is something that has existed, I believe, for at least 50 years. AI exists today, and it's used often by me and you. We'll see that in a little bit. It's used by many, many people all the time. It has become so common that we don't even think about it. We don't think about it as being different, special, or artificial intelligence, but that's exactly what it is. So what's another way to think about AI? AI is technology doing what humans would need intelligence to accomplish. It's doing what humans would need intelligence in order to accomplish. Let me give you an example that is more than 50 years old. Here's an early example of AI. This is something called a chatbot. This specific chatbot called Eliza, now not in this form, but in its early form, was created by a computer scientist by the name of Gerald Weizenbaum, who was also a clinical psychologist. And he was looking to see, hey, computers are really good at crunching numbers. Can they do other kinds of things? Could they carry on a conversation with a human being? Is this just the appearance of intelligence? Or is this more than just that? AI is attempting to simulate, fashion, or recreate human intelligence. And that's exactly what Gerald Weizenbaum did in the 1960s. Let me read this little transcript of a conversation I had with this modern incarnation of Eliza. Eliza, how do you do? Please tell me your problem. Me. I am lonely. Eliza, how long have you been lonely? For as long as I can remember. Tell me more about that. My mother hates me. By the way, I'm making this up. I'm neither lonely, nor does my mother hate me. What else comes to mind when you think of your mother? Everyone hates me. Surely not everyone. This appears to be very human-like conversationally. It was designed to mimic a Rogerian psychotherapist. Gerald Weizenbaum actually was concerned because his patients in the 1960s wanted to spend time on a teletype interacting with this thing rather than other human beings. Sounds kind of predictive, doesn't it? Yeah. But notice what's happening here. It's responding in a way that certainly appears to be intelligent. Now, how did ELIZA work? It was this second beautiful aspect of computer systems. Number one, arithmetic operations, which we've seen. And number two, logical operations, comparing. It saw the word mother. It asked about family. Or this one, it asks, what comes to mind when we think about mother? When I used the universal quantifier, everyone, just like my real mom, it said, surely not everyone. Well, you're saying if AI is so old, why does it seem like it's just within the last few years? Interesting history of artificial intelligence, which we'll dive into in another video also. After some brilliant initial successes, Joseph Weizenbaum, a checkers playing system, notice that this timeline jumps from 1964 to 1997. What was going on in between? Not much. This is what historians and computer scientists call AI winter. AI development was painfully slow. But beginning in the past 20 to 25 years, AI has been revived. How is modern AI different from early AI? And it is very much different from early AI. We'll spend time in this series looking at things in depth, so if you don't understand the tech, don't worry about it. But I want to use a couple of examples of some things you've heard of and put them into a context. So, one area of AI, this is just one example of an area of AI, is something called generative AI. One example of generative AI is something called an LLM. LLM, large language model. And likely the most famous current example of an LLM, which is generative AI, which is AI in general, is an application called ChatGPT. You can interact with this also. I'm going to switch over here and I'm just going to do by the way, you can pay for this, you can log in. I'd encourage you not to do that. Just use the free version here. Let me show you. Uh-oh, I got to bring it up. Oops. I told you I made mistakes, right? Here's one of them. Aha, here it is. So you can see the site, the URL that I've browsed to, just chatgpt.com. Again, you can log in. There are higher powered versions, etc. Ask me anything. Can you write poetry? So I typed in, can you write poetry? The system responded, yes, I can write poetry. What kind of poem would you like me to write? Any particular theme, style, or tone? Got to be able to spell. Well, maybe not. Write a poem about computer science. Thank you for trying. I don't want to. See, it's going to try to shame you into logging in, etc. Here's a poem about computer science. In the hum of circuits where logic flows, a world of bits and bytes it grows, a dance of data swift and bright, a language formed in black and white. From algorithms sharp and clean to structures hidden yet serene, to the code unfolds a secret art, each line a beating, structured heart. Sometimes people say computers only do what they're told to do. Well, in a sense, I told to write a poem, but that poem wasn't there. That poem did not exist. This app, ChatGPT, actually generated this. And we'll get some insight into how it could do that in a future video. But let me ask it one other thing. How do you work? I work by processing and generating text based on patterns and data from a wide range of sources. I was trained on vast amounts of text data. Where did most of this data come from? Social media. Does that make you feel good? Understanding context, generating responses, no memory, fine tuning. I try to assist by predicting the most relevant, helpful, or creative responses based on what I've learned, even though I don't have consciousness or emotions like a human. Are you intelligent? In a sense, I could be considered intelligent, but not in the same way humans are. My intelligence is based on pattern recognition, vast amounts of data, complex algorithms. I don't have self-awareness. I don't truly understand concepts. So while I can perform tasks that appear intelligence, like answering questions, solving problems, or creating poetry, I do it through computational processes rather than human-like thought. All right. So a little more background. And again, at the computer science here, I know there's a lot, but in this series, I want to give you the background so you'll know what we're talking about. One area of AI is something called machine learning. Machine learning is the ability of a computer system to observe and then predict. To observe and predict via data that it has been trained on. Computer scientists call this pattern matching. Notice it needs a bunch of training data and then an algorithm. A classic algorithm in machine learning is something called linear regression, which is just a formula. It's just a mathematical equation. For example, we could set up a machine learning model that would help students predict what score they would get on an exam based upon how many hours they studied. Take lots of past study time and scores, and then the student can do their own prediction. Machine learning. This is a stable of many, many applications that you use all the time today. Machine learning, we were stuck in this machine learning world at the end of the 20th century. We knew about this idea of deep learning, but we couldn't pull it off technically until the 21st century. Deep learning uses something called ANN, artificial neural networks. A neuron is the brain cell, and your brain is the most complex thing in the known universe. God really slammed it out of the park when he created the human brain. Trillions of brain cells, neurons, all interconnected. And early AI researchers said, hey, we should, rather than getting a compute, we should create these neurons that sort of mimic the brain. We were able to do that, but on a very small scale. Today, we have many, many so-called hidden layers. And that's what's given current AI, things like ChatGPT, its immense power. You know what's interesting? We really don't even know what's going on in these deep layers. More in a future video. So AI, machine learning, deep learning, that gets us to generative AI. Foundation models, you may have heard that term, a large language model like ChatGPT, which deals with language. Other foundation models might deal with vision. A large language model is a foundation model, and these are all generative AI. It sees words, and then it predicts the next. So ChatGPT sees the words like create poem, and then it predicts the next thing that will happen. This is similar to autocomplete on your phone or autocorrect in a word processor. You know, you're texting a message and it fills it in for you. And it's hardly ever what we want, is it? I know. But it's sort of like that autocomplete, autocorrect, but not just with the current word, with a current sentence, paragraph, or document. Generative AI creates new content. Oftentimes people claim computers only do what they're told, but it's told to create something new. What was there wasn't part of its programming. It did it. Let me show you that we all use AI today. I'm sure you do. This little chart shows just some of the many aspects of artificial intelligence: machine learning, natural language processing, expert systems, vision, speech, planning. I argue that almost all technology appears intelligent. AI exists today, used often by all of us. AI is simply technology doing what you would need intelligence to carry out. Examples. Do you talk to your phone? That's funny, I know. Do you use speech recognition? I don't I don't do my fingers or thumbs to create text. I just speak it in, right? This virtual digital assistant like Siri, Google, Cortana, etc., that is speech recognition. That's one aspect of artificial intelligence. The virtual assistant recognizes speech and does natural language processing to provide information. Do you shop online? Do you go to Amazon, eBay, what is some other place, and these recommendations come up? Oh, you may also like this. How did eBay know I would be interested in that? Answer: these recommendations are produced via artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms, based upon not only you, but other similar customers and their preferences. I will admit, eBay is so useless. I was trying to look up a lighter the other day, and all I got were 13,749 matches. Oh, don't laugh at your own jokes. Do you have a smart home appliance? Do you have an intelligent thermostat, an intelligent doorbell? Do you have a robotic vacuum cleaner? These are AI devices. The Roomba vacuum cleaner here learns your room, learns where it's dirtiest, and focuses on those areas first. Do you take pictures either with a digital camera or on your phone? Notice that little green box that pops up? That little green box is face detection. It recognizes where in the image the face is so it can expose for the face. Focus on the face, and the rest of it is probably not as important, right? This is face detection, vision, artificial intelligence. Do you use social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, etc.? Oh, what's all this stuff in your feed? How does it know that you'd be interested in these things? Artificial intelligence, aspect of machine learning. AI provides a custom feeds for you. Do you create text or email messages? Likely the system you use can both check the spelling, check the grammar, and autocorrect those things for you. That's language processing, machine learning. Spell check? That's artificial intelligence. Do you search online? Do you use DuckDuckGo, which you should? You don't use Google, right? No, I don't recommend that you use Google. Use something safer like DuckDuckGo to search the web. How do they know? Again, artificial intelligence. Do you do online banking? What if you tried to move $20,000 or $1 million, flags would go off there, right? AI is used in online banking, helps detect hackers and prevent fraud. One thing I forgot to mention about here, when you type in something, not only will you see those sites that have that, but notice how the ads related to that follow you around. Yeah, that's AI also. Do you use GPS? Artificial intelligence. And the list goes on. Artificial intelligence is all these things and many more, and we use it all the time, and we probably don't even think, oh, that's really cool and exciting, but it is AI. So, what is AI? Well, if you ask 20 people on the street, you'll likely get 20 different answers. For me, AI is really human attempts to fashion intelligent entities, autonomous computer systems acting with plan and purpose. But beyond that, is it a tool or is it a terror? Is it scary or is it superb? No technology is neutral. Technology is created by human beings who are not morally neutral, and technology can be used for good or bad depending upon the attitude of the user's heart. When we attempt to infuse intelligence into technology, whose intelligence are we attempting to infuse? And does that come along with ethical and moral implications? It absolutely does. So all these from the Roomba to the smart doorbell, computers acting with plan and purpose. That's AI. Recently my boss told me, you have a room temperature IQ. And then she went on, if the room is in Antarctica, all human beings are intelligent. So how should we approach AI? I'm going to suggest we approach AI with hopeful hesitation. Hopeful hesitation. There are many benefits to AI, but we need to understand what AI is, what it is doing, and especially why. We need to know something about the designers and the companies behind them. It's not enough just to understand the technology of AI. We have to understand the designers and the companies, because they're going to infuse their ethics, their morals, and their worldview into the technology. This is hard. How do you get behind the hype? It isn't always easy, but God has given us a rational mind to comprehend and a soul to discern that which is true, beautiful, and good. How do we approach AI? I'm going to suggest we have to use our God-given abilities. At the birthday, God gave Adam and Eve, and also all of us, intelligence and a soul, a rational mind, a discerning soul. We have to use both of those to understand and take a right approach to artificial intelligence. Let me share a story that I don't think has anything to do with artificial intelligence. Many of you know this narrative recorded in Genesis 41. Joseph begins his journey in Egypt as a slave, but then is able to interpret the king Pharaoh's dream. It's kind of a cool picture. So this is what after Joseph interprets the dream for Pharaoh, Joseph tells the king, Now, therefore, let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man, set him up over the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has shown you all this, there is none so discerning and wise as you. God has shown you this. Folks, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching this, and I'm going to ask a favor of you. Please send me your comments and suggestions, and even what you thought might have been good and helpful. I've redone this first one several times now, still trying to get it right. But I thank you, and I'm going to ask you, send me your comments and concerns and suggestions. What are your thoughts or your questions about AI in general? May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works. Who looks on the earth and it trembles, who touches the mountains and they smoke. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have being. May my meditation be pleasing to him, for I rejoice in the Lord. Until we meet again, God's richest blessings to you.